Hi guys! Welcome to our channel. Na-miss namin kayo guys sa pag-read ng books every night before going to bed. It's a nighttime bedtime story. Welcome to our channel nga pala guys. So, meron kaming 2 books dito ngayon guys na i-read para sa inyo, lalong-lalo na sa inyong mga kids. So, it's Sunday tonight. And tomorrow is ready to school. So, before kami mag-sleep, guys, dahil maaga matulog si Anatis, dahil may klase bukas, 2 more weeks na lang ang school, guys, dito sa Amerika. So, mag-read muna kami ng book para sa inyo, guys. So, the title of the books are Little Lucy Goes to School. Here, this is Lucy. And the other book entitled Far From Home. Which one TJ goes first? What do you think? Okay, TJ choose Far From Home. Far From Home. Brian liked to be perfect. He never broke the rules. He always did his homework. His shirt was neatly tucked in for school. Brian lived in a tidy house. The house was on a lovely tree-lined street. One day, Brian's mom told him she had a new job. The job was in China. The family would have to move. Brian was shocked. He did not know where China was, but he knew it was far away. Brian was sad to say goodbye to his friends. When he arrived in China, things seemed strange. On the first day of school, he got lost. At school, a boy named Tao said hello. Tao said he was the class monitor. He promised to look after Brian. At recess, Brian wanted to play basketball. No one was allowed to play. Everyone had to exercise instead. At lunchtime, Brian was hungry. He could not use the chopsticks properly. So he invented another way. It worked just as well. After lunch, Brian had to learn a new sport. It was called Kung Fu. He found it hard. He kept falling over. The other children helped Brian. Then he started to enjoy it. The last lesson of the day was painting. Brian had never used ink before. He was trying hard, but then he spilled ink over his paper. Tao helped him clean it up. The teacher called Brian to the front of the class. Brian thought that would be scolded. Instead, he was awarded a sticker. His painting said the word friend in Chinese. it was time to go home. Brian gave his painting to Tao as a present. He waved goodbye to his new friends. He had enjoyed the first day of his new school. He could not wait until tomorrow. Far from home, Brian lives in a nice neighborhood and does well in school. Then his mom gets a new job in China, and Brian's family has to move. School in China is very different. Will Brian ever get used to it? So that's the end of the first book, guys. The second book is The Little Lucy Goes to School. Lucy was a little beagle. She liked to run, she liked to bark, she liked to haul. Oh, most of all, she liked her boy, Bobby Quinn, and he liked her just as much. Mornings were busy at the Queen's house. Mrs. Queen made breakfast. Mrs. Queen made the lunches. Bobby ran around looking for his books. Lucy just ran around after breakfast. Mr. Queen went to work. Then it was Bobby's turn to leave. He shook Lucy's paw. I have to go to school, he said. School is where I learn new things. Be good, Lucy. Lucy flopped on the floor. Things were quiet when Bobby was gone. Why couldn't Bobby stay home and play? Mrs. Queen spotted something. Oh no, she said. Bobby forgot his lunch. Lucy looked up at Mrs. Queen's. Well, Lucy, she said, we will have to bring it to him. Mrs. Queen grabbed Bobby's lunchbox. She picked up Lucy's. Out they went. The ride to the school was short. Mrs. Queen parked the car. I should have brought you lace, Mrs. Queen told Lucy. She picked up the lunch. She picked up Lucy. They hurried into the school. Lucy looked around. What was this new place all about? Colored drawings hung on the wall. A group of kids walked through the hall. This looked interesting. Mrs. Queen went into the school office. A young woman stood by a desk. I'm Jill, she said. Can I help you? Hi, Jill, Mrs. Queen said. I'm Bobby Queen's mother. He forgot his lunch. She held up the lunch box. I'll get it to him, Jill said. And who is this? She patted Lucy's head. This is Lucy, Mrs. Queen said. Can I hold her? Jill asked. Mrs. Queen started to hand Lucy's over. But before Jill could take hair. Lucy's wiggled. Then Lucy's wriggled in a flash. She was free. And when she was free, she ran out the office door. Lucy, Mrs. Queen called. Lucy's heard her, but she did not stop. There was too much to see in this new place. Lucy ran down a long hall. She ran past a boy with brown hair and a girl with a ponytail. It's a dog, the boy said. Stop, the girl called. Dogs don't belong in school. Lucy heard her, but she did not stop. She followed her nose, and her nose smelled food. She scuttled into a bright, shiny room. Pots and pans sat on a big stove. The good smells tickled her nose. A woman in an apron held a tray of sandwiches. Lucy ran in circles around the lady legs. She barked a little bark. Oh, the lady said, what is the dog doing in this kitchen? A few sandwiches fell on the floor. That was good news for Lucy. She laughed on the sandwiches and took some bites. Stop, little one, the lady said. Dogs don't belong in school. She tried to grab a sandwich from Lucy. Then she tried to grab Lucy. But Lucy was too fast. She ran out the lunchroom door. Now where? Lucy followed her nose again. A funny smell came from a room. With lots of books, Lucy peeked in. A man with a mop was cleaning the floor. Quietly, Lucy padded in. She sniffed the floor. The floor was wet. Lucy's paw got wet. She slid a little. The man turned around. He saw Lucy. Am I seeing things? He asked. Lucy barked. He was not seeing things. Come with me, doggy, the man said. Dogs don't belong in the library. He made a move toward Lucy. Lucy did not want to come with the man. Out of the library she ran. She glanced behind her. The man with the map was after her. So was the lady in the apron. Mrs. Queen came around the corner. Lucy stopped. Mrs. Queen called. Lucy heard her, but she did not stop. This was too much fun. Lucy was fast. No one could catch her. She dashed down a hallway. She saw an open door. She scooted inside. The room was full of children. Lucy looked at them. They looked back at Lucy. Then she heard a voice she knew. Lucy, Bob called. What are you doing here? Bobby! Lucy was so glad to see her boy. She jumped into his lap. She licked his face. The kids left their seats. They crowded around Bobby. They had never seen a dog in school. Mrs. Lee, Bobby's teacher, clapped her hands. Back to your seats, please, she said. Bobby, what is Lucy's doing here? I don't know, Bobby said, but he was sure glad to see her. Lucy was tired from all the running. She curled up in Bobby's arms. Just then the man with the mop, the lady in the apron, and Mrs. Quince rushed into the room. There she is, Mrs. Quinn said. She pointed to Lucy. I brought Bobby's lunch to the office, she told Mrs. Lee. But Lucy got away. It's all right, Mrs. Lee said. It's funny to have a dog in school at least for a little while. Mrs. Quinn took Lucy's from Bobby. It's time to go home, she said firmly. Dogs don't belong in school. Lucy yawned. Maybe it was time to leave, but she had learned a lot in school. Sandwiches tasted good, wet floors were slick, running through holes was fun. Bobby gave Lucy's one last hug. I'll be home soon, Lucy, he said. Well, have more fun then. Lucy licked Bobby's face. Fun. She could hardly wait. So that's the end of the second story, guys, for tonight, entitled Little Lucy Goes to School. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye. Don't skip ads. Thank you in advance.